We we were never meant to find in people what we are meant to find in God. We were never created to find in people what we were created to find in God, in Yah. Okay, this is the reason why a lot of you, go from one situation to another, one church to another, one relationship, one friendship, one business partnership, you name it, on and on and on, because we're constantly trying to find in people what we are meant to find, what we were made to find only in our Creator, in God, in our Father of creation. So, what happens is that somewhere down the line, a lot of us, we get to a situation where sometimes early on, sometimes later on down the line, but we all get into situations divinely led by the Spirit of the Father without even knowing when it's happening most of the time. When we have started our path, our walk with the Creator, we are led into these situations purposely by the Spirit of the Father, whether we understand it or not at that moment in time. And some early on get complacent, and you tend to stay in a situation that was meant to be a learning experience for a time, for a specific time, and we end up negating the Holy Spirit out of disobedience to the Holy Spirit, and we stay in what is familiar to us in our flesh of sin, and we delay the process, and we delay the blessing of that lesson that helps us to carry on and grow in our spiritual maturity, and a lot of us do that early on, and some of us do that later on. There's a lot of folks that get so caught up. It's like I've been saying, the rich young ruler. Some folks that get so caught up in the indoctrinations and the programming of this world that they prolong that process even longer, and they have to go through that process of spending half, 3/4 of their life accumulating earthly wealth, accumulating earthly wealth. Oh, sweet music. Only to realize down the line that the riches of this world will not suffice. They will not suffice, because that hole that you're trying to fill is far beyond what any man or anything can offer. It will not suffice. We spend most of our lives looking to fill that hole that we were purposely created with, that void inside, that search for meaning that can only be found in spirit and truth at the feet of your Creator, and constantly looking for it. When we start up early, we start looking for it in men, in groups. We like I said, we get complacent, and we fall comfortable to what's familiar, and if one or two or three, they're in the process of awakening in the beginning of revelation of Christ, then, oh, this is enough. We're here. And then somewhere down the line, not short from there, they just decide that that's enough. It's enough that we have all said this prayer. It's enough that we have all landed on the commonality of the initial change of lifestyle and things like that, and we forget to continue to listen to that still voice of the Holy Spirit that that took us to that prayer, that took us to that change of heart. And we'll find ourselves going around in a circle over and over and over and over again, wondering why aren't things changing. Even though you might change, you think you have some control to change certain things, you'll just change things around the same cycle. It's like Groundhog Day. You know that movie, Groundhog Day? It's like that. So you try to change a couple things within that cycle, but the cycle doesn't change. The cycle's still the same. Because until you realize and decide to stop looking at man and start to pay attention to God, to your Creator, here, until you start looking inside and you stop looking outside, you won't find the answer. You won't find a way to change that cycle. Because the one that changes that cycle, the one that keeps you in a growing state, is the one that started that work in you. And if you don't stay at the feet of the one that started that work in you, you're not allowing him to finish it. Okay? Unless you're chosen. If you're the elect, you have no choice. You're going to bump your head into enough walls until you get it. And you say, okay, I'm done now. I'm listening. What's next? But many are called and few are the chosen. So bless you guys. Catch you on the next one.